Hi, I'm Kathy Brooks, and welcome to Friday Flashback, where we take a look at stories from years gone by. Well, non-motorized transportation has grown in popularity in recent years, with more and more people cycling, skateboarding, and paddling, for instance. And there are non-motorized ways to soar above the ground as well. Well, back in 1990, members of a small club in Smithers were enjoying the challenge, freedom, and quiet tranquility of gliding. Our Smithers reporter then, Gladys Atrill, produced this story about the joys of powerless flight.
It's the pure joy of flying. It's powerless flight. You have to read nature. You have to read the weather, local conditions, and from that aspect, it's much more of a challenge than powered flight.
That's Norbert Clausen, pilot, gliding instructor, and member of the Smithers Soaring Club. The club is a small group with a really good thing going, the fact that Smithers is a great place for gliding.
Smithers is unique in that we get a lot of thermals in the summertime, and we get ridge lift, and as you noticed today, we had some real good wave, and it's very hard to find all these different features in one gliding area.
Now, on the day that I visited the Smithers Soaring Club, the members were excited about a condition known as wave. Paul Shallifer, also an instructor with the Smithers Club, explains wave.
Well, today is a wave day. You've seen the long lenticular clouds, kind of flat, dish-shaped, stacked up clouds. They indicate that there's a wave occurring, and wave is it's caused by an obstruction in the atmosphere, like Hudson's Bay Mountain or a range of mountains, and it's just like a boulder in a stream. When the water flows over it, it creates a standing wave downstream. And the atmosphere, when the temperatures and the wind direction is right, flowing over the mountain, it creates a standing wave. And with the glider, we park in the up part of the wave, and as the glider is pushed backwards at the wind speed, which is 20 knots or so, we fly fast enough that we progress, that we stay in one place. And we just go up it like an elevator, 2,000 feet a minute, sometimes 4,000 feet a minute.
Now, Shallifer, I think, could be described as a man who takes the recreational activity of gliding seriously.
Well, I was driving by a glider port in the eastern part of the country in 1976, and I saw an airplane in the air, and I thought that looked like fun. And I haven't missed a weekend since.
Are you serious? Not a weekend since?
Well, in the wintertime sometimes, but I usually go somewhere else to try flying in the wintertime.
Maybe just on that, the season, if you, like here, for example, how long can you be gliding?
It's quite weather dependent, but we've started as early as the middle of March. Sometimes the snow is off the field and it dries out by then. And by the end of October, we tend to get wet weather, and so training isn't that good at that part of the year. But in the later part of the season, October, November, December, it gets pretty cold, but we get really good wave flying then. That's when the really high flights occur.
When Shallifer speaks of high flights, he's got first-hand experience.
Well, I was up to 23,000 feet several years ago, but that was basically just cold. At 23,000 feet, it's about minus 50, and you have to be quite bundled up. The highest high that I got here was a cross-country flight that I made several years ago to Burns Lake and back. And it was about a 6-hour flight. I stopped in every thermal along the way, and I shared, I think, just about every thermal I shared with an eagle, too. It was really quite a fantastic flight.
The Soaring Club is based at the Smithers Airport. While it has only about a dozen members, it owns a tow plane and 2 gliders. One is a sporty single-seater, Able to handle aerobatics, the second has 2 seats, facilitating instruction and, of course, taking someone up for a joyride. Everyone here is having fun, but people are attentive to detail. Pre-flight checks are done to ensure the craft is in good order.
We have the daily inspection.
The sport of gliding, its pilots and instructors fall under federal regulation. Norbert Clausen says, however, it's not difficult to become a glider pilot or instructor.
You need a certain amount of experience. It's not very hard to become a gliding instructor. You need a certain number of hours and experience, and you have to participate in an instructor's course, and you'll be judged by senior instructors, and they will either certify you as fit or unfit to instruct.
As part of the pre-flight inspection, the tow rope is shown to the glider pilot before being connected to the craft. If deemed all right, the connection is made, the plane is balanced for the initial part of takeoff, and away she goes. Clausen says rising air is a necessity for gliding.
Yes, because gravity tends to pull you down all the time. The rising air is either provided by warm air lifting from the ground up, or air currents over the mountains, or air moving up a slope, and you fly in that rising air just a little bit out ahead of the slope, and you can maintain your altitude and you can cruise along for hours.
What maybe would be some of the hazards, or what would be the conditions on a day that you'd choose not to go up?
Well, you'd have to be, you wouldn't want to fly in too turbulent conditions. If you have extreme crosswinds, it'd be difficult to land the glider. You want to avoid thunderstorms in the summertime because of the tremendous updrafts and downdrafts. You want to stay away from the mountain when it's, blowing more than 20, 25 miles an hour. You get into a rotor and it can be pretty dramatic. You can scare yourself pretty nicely.
Are there very many accidents in gliders?
There are accidents, and unfortunately, those accidents are mostly caused by pilot error, negligence, not paying attention.
Clausen, who flies both powered planes and gliders, says it's more challenging to fly without a motor.
The same principles are involved in controlling a glider as in a powered airplane, but you have to be more skillful in coordinating your controls when you fly a glider, because you don't have an engine to cover up your mistakes.
It's easy to see why these flyers are so keen. The flight is quiet and serene. The movement feels smooth. The views are limitless. And if you're the pilot, you're in total control. The good news here is the club is always looking for new members. They usually have posters up around Smithers with a phone number to call, or you can just drop down to the airport on a sunny weekend day and for a reasonable fee, take a ride and see if it's for you. On this particular day, club member Susan Jones made her first solo flight. The moment was suitably marked as soon as she was back on the ground.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations,
Thanks
and
a
look
lot.
at what we got for you.
You guys are
From Florida.
great. Thanks a lot.